Пане спікер, пане прем'єр-міністре, члени уряду,
Mr. Speaker,
парламенту, лорди,
all the members of Parliament, ladies and gentlemen.
Я звертаюся до усіх людей Сполученого Королівства,
I'm addressing all the people of the United
до
Kingdom
усіх людей Великої Британії,
and all the
великого
people
народу з великою історією.
from the country with a big history.
Я звертаюся до вас як громадянин, як президент
I'm addressing you as a citizen, as a
теж
president
великої країни.
of also a
З
big
великою
country
мрією
with a dream
і великою боротьбою.
and big effort.
Я хочу розказати вам про наші 13
I
днів.
would like to tell you about the 3 days of about the 13 days of
Міцної
war,
війни, яку ми не розпочинали,
the war that we didn't start and we didn't want it.
ведемо.
However, we have to conduct this war.
Не хочемо втратити те,
We
що
do
в нас
not
є, те, що
want to
наше.
lose what we have, what is ours, our country, Ukraine,
Не хотіли втратити свій
just the same way
коли
as
нацисти
you
готувалися
once
розпочати
didn't
війну
want to lose your country when
за вашу
Nazis
велику державу,
started
битву
to
за Британію.
fight your country.
13
And
днів
you had to
нашого
fight for
захисту.
Britain. 13 days of the
Перший
struggle.
день, о 4 ранку, на нас полетіли
On day
крилаті
1 at 4
ракети.
o'clock in the morning, we were attacked by cruise missiles.
Всі прокинулись. Ми, діти,
Everybody woke up,
ті ми, живі люди,
people,
вся
children,
Україна. І відтоді
the
не
entire
спить.
Ukraine. And since that, we have not been
Стали до
sleeping.
зброї.
We have all been
Великою
fighting
армією.
for our country with our army.
Відбувалось від атак у повітрі,
On
на
day
суші, на
2,
морі. І
we
наші
have
героїчні
been fighting
прикордонники на
airstrikes,
острові
and
Зміїний,
our
у
heroic
Чорному морі
military
розповіли
servicemen
всі
on
про
the
фінал
island
війни.
Zmini
А
have been
саме,
trying to
куди,
fight
зрештою, відправиться ворог. Коли російський корабль
when Russian
вимагав від наших хлопців
flag
скласти зброю,
when Russian forces demanded that we lay
так
down the
міцно,
arms.
як не
However,
можна казати в парламенті.
we did continue fighting,
І ми
and
відчули силу.
we
Велику
did
силу
feel
нашого народу, який до
our
кінця
force,
гнатиме окупанта.
the force of our
На третій
people
день
that
російські війська,
will
не ховаючись, били по
oppose the occupants
просто по людям, по
until the
житловим
end.
будинках, артилерією.
The next day, the artillery started fighting us.
Показала нам, показала світу, хто є хто.
Our
Хто
army
великі
showed
люди, а хто
us
просто звірі.
who we are, and we have been able to see who are people and who are
Ми вже
beasts.
почали брати десятками.
On day 4, we started getting people captive. We have not been torturing them.
Ми лишились людьми на
We
четвертий
remained
день
humane
цієї ганебної
even
війни.
on day 4 of this
На
terrible
п'ятий день
war.
терор
On
проти
day
нас вже був
5,
відвертий.
the terror against
Проти
us
міст, проти
was
маленьких містечок,
going
зруйновані
on
райони,
against children, against cities,
бомби знов,
and
бомби на
constant
будинки,
shelling
на
have
школи,
been
на
taking
лікарні.
place
І це геноцид,
around the country, including
який не
hospitals,
зламав нас,
and
мобілізував
that
нас,
didn't
кожного
break
з нас,
us.
і кожного. І дав нам відчуття
And that gave us feeling
великої правди.
of big
На
truth.
шостий день
On day
російські
6,
ракети упали на Бабин Яр. Це
the
місто,
Russian
де нацисти страхали
rockets
100
fell
тисяч
on
людей.
Babin Yar. That is the place where the
Другої
Nazis
світової війни.
killed
Через 80 років
thousands of
по тому
people
Росія
during the
вбила
Second World
їх
War.
вдруге.
And 80 years after, the Russia hit at them for the second time. And even churches are getting destroyed by shelling.
Ми. На восьмий день світ
On
побачив,
day
що
8,
російських танків стріляють
we
по
have seen Russian
атомній
tanks hitting
найбільшій
the
в Європі.
atomic
І світ
power
почав
station.
розуміти, що це
And
терор проти
everybody
всіх.
got to understand that this is the terror
На
against
дев'ятий ми слухали
everyone.
зустріч країн НАТО.
On day 9, there was a meeting of NATO
Бажаного для
countries
нас результату, без
without the
мужності.
result that we
Так,
were
ми
looking
відчули
for.
це. Я не
Yes,
хочу
we did
нікого
feel
образити. Ми це відчули, що
We
альянси
did
не
feel
діють. Навіть небо
that
закрити не можуть.
We did feel that, unfortunately, that the alliances don't work properly always, and the no-fly zone cannot be enforced. And on day 10, the Ukrainians started protesting en masse, stopping the armored vehicles with their own hands. And on day 11, the children and cities were being hit, and hospitals as well, with the rockets and constant shelling. And on that day we realized that Ukrainians became heroes. The entire cities, children, adults. And on day 12, the losses of Russian army exceeded 10,000 people killed. And also including the general, and that gave us hope that there will be some kind of responsibility for those people in front of the court. On day 13, in the city of Mariupol that was attacked by the Russian force, a child was killed. They do not allow any food, any water, and people started panicking. I think everybody can hear that people do not have water over there. Over 13 days of this situation, over 50 children have been killed. These are the children that could have lived, but these people have taken them away from us. The United Kingdom, Ukraine were not looking to have this fall. The Ukraine have not been looking to become big, but they have become big over the days of this war. We are the country that are saving people despite having to fight one of the biggest armies in the world. We have to fight the helicopters, rockets. The question for us now is to be or not to be. You all know this Shakespearean question. For 13 days, this question could have been asked, but now I can give you a definitive answer. It's definitely yes to be. And I would like to remind you the words that the United Kingdom have already heard, which are important again. We will not give up, and we will not lose. We will fight till the end, at sea, in the air. We will continue fighting for our land, whatever the cost. We will fight in the forests, in the fields, on the shores, in the streets. I would like to add that we will fight on the banks of different rivers like Dnieper, and we are looking for your help, for the help of the civilized countries. We are thankful for this help, and I'm very grateful to you, Boris. Please increase the pressure of sanctions against this country, and please recognize this country as a terrorist state. And please make sure that our Ukrainian skies are safe. Please make sure that you do what needs to be done and what is stipulated by the greatness of your country. Best of all to Ukraine and to the United Kingdom.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the House of Commons, I want to thank you for speaking to us and for giving us very clearly and powerful perspective of the tragic situation facing you and fellow Ukrainians. We have debated the situation in Ukraine numerous times in recent weeks, and I know that we will continue to do so, and that when we do so, your words will be resonating with us. I want to express the solidarity of the House of Commons with you, your compatriots, and we salute the courage of the people of Ukraine. Thank you, and our prayers are with you.
Order, Mr. Speaker.
Just let me say. We will now resume with the formal sittings of the House. Order, order. I will take the points of order from the leaders of the main parties before we return to the opposition day. I call the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A point of order, with your permission, Mr. Speaker. May I say that never before in all our centuries of our parliamentary democracy has the House listened to such an address. In a great European capital, now within range of Russian guns, President Volodymyr Zelensky is standing firm for democracy and for freedom. In his righteous defence, I believe he has moved the hearts of everybody in this House. At this moment, ordinary Ukrainians are defending their homes and their families against a brutal assault. And they are, by their actions, inspiring millions by their courage and their devotion. And I think today, one of the proudest boasts in the free world is "Ya Ukrainets." I am a Ukrainian. So this is a moment for us to put our political differences aside, Mr. Speaker, and I know I speak for the whole House when I say that Britain and our allies are determined to press on with supplying our Ukrainian friends with the weapons they need to defend their homeland as they deserve. To press on with tightening the economic vice around Vladimir Putin, and we will stop importing Russian oil, Mr. Speaker, and my right honourable friend, the Business Secretary, will update the House on that tomorrow. And we will employ every method that we can, diplomatic, humanitarian and economic, Mr. Speaker, until Vladimir Putin has failed in this disastrous venture and Ukraine is free once more.
On a point of order, Mr. Speaker, every one of us has been moved by the bravery, the resolve and the leadership of President Zelensky. Invading troops march through his streets, shells rain down on his people, and assassins seek his life. No one would have blamed him for fleeing, but instead he has stayed in Kyiv to lead the Ukrainian people and to fight. He's reminded us that our freedom and our democracy are invaluable. He's prompted the world into action where too often we've let Putin have his way. He's inspired the Ukrainian people to resist and frustrated the Russian war machine. He has shown his strength, and we must show him and the Ukrainian people our commitment and our support. Labour stands for the unity at home and abroad that will isolate the Putin regime. Labour stands for the toughest sanctions that will cripple the Russian state. Labour stands for providing Ukraine with the arms it needs to fight off their invaders. Labour stands with President Zelensky, with Ukraine, with democracy. Slava Ukraini. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Leader of the SNP, Ian Blackford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With your forbearance, if I can make a point of order. President Zelensky, we salute you. We stand with the people of Ukraine on the basis of the act of aggression, on the act of war of Putin. We must do all that we can to send support to Ukraine, to send the weapons that they need to defend themselves, to make sure that we sanction the regime in Moscow, that we deliver the clearest message to President Putin, that this will end in failure for him, that he will face justice at the International Court. We must stand in this House throughout these islands, throughout the Western world, in defence of democracy, in defence of sovereignty. Peace, justice, and the sovereignty of Ukraine must prevail. Let's make sure that we stand with our friends. We stand against those that have been bombed. We make sure that those that need our support, that need our sanctuary, will find a welcoming hand in these islands. Mr. President, we thank you. We salute you. Slavia, Ukraine.
Davey.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Hearing the words of President Zelensky should embolden us all. They serve as a reminder of all that we stand for, of all which so many Ukrainians are so bravely fighting for, a bravery exemplified by President Zelensky himself. That we should never take for granted our values of democracy, of freedom, and of our security. And though we in this House may disagree on many things, we stand together for those values, and together we stand together with the Ukrainian people. Mr. Speaker,